How do I say goodbye to what?
My name is Jeff.
G'day you bloody legends, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 ways to survive a zombie apocalypse from number 5 to number 1. So let's jump straight into this, guys. At number 5, we've got defense. Defense is probably one of the most valuable things you will need in a apocalypse. Now, you never know what type of apocalypse it is. It could be a zombie, it could be a nuclear. Both those apocalypses are pretty unlikely to happen, but in the worst case scenario, there is an apocalypse like that, and there are people actually trying to kill you for food, water, shelter, and all that. You'll definitely need defense. Now, in my opinion, I would have a melee weapon, like a baseball bat, a katana, a knife, something like that, just because a gun itself is very powerful, but at the same time you'll have to find bullets, you'll have to keep the gun quite clean at times. I don't know the full consequences of that, of keeping it unclean, but I definitely know that you need the gun to be clean. Now, why I would have a melee weapon is also because it's very silent. A gun is very loud.
Boom.
If you ever heard a gun, it's a very loud sound. When a melee weapon is maybe, the only sound you can really hear is the slice if you're hitting it really hard. Now, the only defect of a melee weapon is that it gets blunt at times, and you'll have to reapply the sharpness of the melee weapon. When guns, they will not get blunt. But for long range, powerful impact, maybe a one-shot kill, definitely I would go for a gun. But in my instance, in an apocalypse, I would probably go for a melee weapon, just because it's silent. It's also powerful. You don't need bullets and all that, and just, yeah.
Nice.
Number 4 for me is probably shelter. Now, you might be thinking, why is shelter so low on the list? I think some things are just more valuable than some things. Now, shelter, definitely. Especially in a nuclear apocalypse, there's radiation everywhere. The start of the apocalypse, you'll definitely need to have a fallout shelter, or some type, like you can see other videos of how to stand a fallout apocalypse without a fallout shelter. But in my instance, after the apocalypse, I think shelters are definitely necessary in the way of like rain and all that, but also it takes up time to make the shelter when you could be searching for food and all that. Now, definitely you can make a shelter in like 5-10 seconds by stick tarp next to a tree, maybe some rope tied up and stuff. As a scout, I definitely know that tying ropes on things are very useful, because it just helps you to keep the structure or whatever you're using quite safe. So yeah, up to number 3.
Oh, what he's doing? Why you bully me?
Okay, for number 3, I think that family and all that. I think you might be thinking, why is family higher than shelter? Now, family to me is a very important thing. I love my family. They're probably the thing that keeps me afloat in tough times. Now, to you, it might be a different story, but to me, it's definitely the story I just told you. Now, why I think families are the best is they can help you in so many ways in the apocalypse. They can help you through tough times. For example, you go hunting and you don't catch whatever you need, and you just feel depressed. You just feel hardly depressed. Now, families could help you pretty well in those situations by calming you down and just making you feel better. Now, another reason why is they can also help you with jobs. Now, it sounds pretty ruthless. Get your family, you have to do jobs and all this. But in apocalypse, jobs are pretty necessary. You're gonna have no time of just relaxing in an apocalypse, basically, because you're gonna be searching for food, searching for water, mending the fire, looking for new places, searching for weapons and food and water, as I've said, and just simply other stuff. So they can definitely help you while you're over there looking for food. They could be mending the fire. They could be helping you. They could be hunting and all this stuff. So that's why I think families are probably high up there on the list. So for number 2, I think food, because why I put food just under water is because food is definitely a necessary thing of your vital of the way you live, but water is definitely higher up the list because you can't go as long as a couple days without water. When for food, I don't know the exact amount of days, but definitely more than just a couple days like water you can go without food. So that's exactly why. Now why I have it so high on the list is, most of you would probably be agreeing with me at this point, is probably why food is a vital way to keep yourself alive. Now food keeps you up and running basically. So if you didn't have food, you can also A, die, and B, you just would just run down, and you couldn't hunt, you couldn't craft stuff, you couldn't search for food and water, you couldn't build shelters, you couldn't search for other places. So that's why I think it's right up there. And lastly, water. I think water is very high on the list because you can only go a couple days without water. If you don't have water, you're basically dead, if you could say. Water also keeps you hydrated, especially when you're in the very hot climate positions, and also radiation might help. I've done a bit of research, and water actually helps with your radiation poisoning. Now it doesn't help it fix it, but radiation poisoning actually makes you non-hydrated and just keep wanting water and more water. So that's why water is very vital to both illnesses and sicknesses, but also just to your everyday life when it comes to drinking water. It's a very must-have thing, because you can only last a couple, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3, not even 3, maybe just half of, like 2.5 days of not having water without you die of hydration. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you take some from this. Just in the worst case scenario, it does happen, which hopefully it doesn't. So just reflect on this and just see that if it does happen, maybe these are things that I would do and maybe you would take them on. Now remember that if you're very focused on this and you just think that it's so determined it's going to happen, jump online and try to find some survival kits. I will try to be making some survival kit tutorial, maybe make a little med kit and stuff that you can use. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Nice.